in franchise history. It's been nearly 30 years since the Suns were in the finals. Welcome back to The Jump. I'm Rachel Nichols. I'm still here with Richard Jefferson, Kendrick Perkins. Chris Bosh is back with us. Before we get into talking about the Suns backcourt, I do want to just give an injury update. Our Adrian Wojnarowski reporting that the MRI on Suns forward Torrey Craig revealed no structural damage in his right knee. That is a huge relief right after he took that charge. Had to leave the court, did not come back into the game. They are now listing him as day-to-day, so shouts to the MRI. And some happy Suns fans there. Oh. I do want to talk about Devin Booker and Chris Paul, though, presenting a very difficult challenge for the Bucks. They've outscored Milwaukee's starting backcourt by a combined 46 points so far between games 1 and game 2. So, Chris Bosh, what can the Bucks do to slow down the Book and CP3 show?
Well, I mean, it's easier said than done, right? These are two of the best players in the league. Chris Paul's got the eye of the tiger right now. I think he wants it more than anybody else in the world right now. And Book is definitely trying to establish himself as the young superstar of the league. But I think one of the things that the Bucks can do is really play better defense. I think I'm more of a traditional big. I like to see the bigs up in the screen and roll. Guarding Chris Paul is hard enough. If you've got a guy way back there in the paint and you're watching Chris Paul make these moves and you're reacting to his ball movement, you're reacting to all of those tricks, and you're reacting to his floaters and his mid-range jumpers, you're not doing yourself a favor. I think they have to be more aggressive on the defensive end and try to dictate the direction of Chris Paul and Devin Booker. Again, easier said than done, but right now, CP, he's been in the zone. I think in the last 4 or 5 games, he hasn't shot under 50%. So if the point guard is playing that efficiently and he's getting his assist and getting that ball moving and having everyone run all over the court, you're at a disadvantage.
It's so well said. And what can the Bucks do to slow down CP and Booker? This is the issue. When CP's at his best, everyone around their team benefits. When Giannis is at his best, like he was, I believe last night, you don't know if everyone benefits around that. And that's what's so confusing about this Bucks team versus this Suns team. Because I'll tell you this, let's say hypothetically that Giannis is the best player in this series. And I only say that because when Chris Paul's at his best, he's affecting his entire team. And so after that, it would go Giannis is number 1, Chris Paul number 2, then you would go Booker, then I would say Ayton. So it goes number 1 Giannis, then the next 3 best players, in my opinion, in this series all belong on the Phoenix Suns. That shows how cohesive their team is. So trying to stop Booker and CP3 is really trying to stop the entire Phoenix Suns team.
Well, I'm going to answer your question, Rachel, and I think the way that you stop them is the same way that they're slowing down Chris Middleton and Drew Holiday, right? What we're not putting enough emphasis on is that the Phoenix Suns are doing a great job of making them spend a lot of energy on the defensive end.
Right.
So how you gotta slow them down is by making them play defense. This is why I gotta say with the Bucks, you gotta put some structure in your offense. You gotta make them guard, just like with Richard, which when you was with the Cavs when y'all won the championship, what y'all used to do with Steph, y'all was like, look, we're gonna make you guard. Y'all switched up y'all whole game plan of bringing a big up in the pick and roll to bringing Steph up into the pick and roll and forcing him to switch so he won't have that much energy on the offensive end. So I think if I'm the Milwaukee Bucks, I'm trying to put them in as much action as possible. 1, to wear them down. 2, to hopefully get them in foul trouble.
And you want to look at the Bucks not shooting the ball well. Did you see how much scrambling they had to do on defense?
Right.
When we showed this early in their show, there was 14 passes bouncing around.
12.
That exhausts.
But that's good enough.
Look, we don't let the truth get in the way of us. Like what?
He should have said that when he had an opportunity. Don't pick back off of what I said.
I was just trying to help people show that you don't make up stuff. He's actually correct once in a while because it's like that takes starch out of your offense.
I will say, Devin Booker is not likely to hit 7 3-pointers in the next game. He's only done that one other time, and it actually was earlier in this playoffs when he hit 8 3-pointers in a game. But the 3-point shooting from the Suns, even though they didn't rank super high in it in the regular season, they're comfortable doing it. And it's funny, someone in the press conference last night asked Chris Paul, man, were your eyes a little open when you saw the stat sheet and saw it was 40 attempts on 20 makes? And he just looked at the reporter and said, I did play for the Houston Rockets, I'm familiar with taking a lot of threes. I want to move over, though, physically to Milwaukee because, as we've been saying, the finals are shifting to, in the copy, I'm supposed to say they're shifting to Deer District, but I can't. It's to the Deer District.
Don't say you can't. You can do anything.
I don't want to insult the Deer District.
Yeah.
I just feel like there needs to be a "the" in front of it. I don't know. Milwaukee lost just one home game this postseason, so clearly the Deer District, however you want to say it, it is in effect. And by the way, that one loss at home, it took a 48-point game from Trae Young in order for that to happen. They are under 500 team in the road in these playoffs. So, Richard, you were talking before about splits, right? So this Bucks team, home versus road, these splits are pretty remarkable.
It's remarkable, and mainly because it's not just the role players. It's your two other all-stars outside of Giannis. When you look at Chris Middleton scores 24 points a game at home on 47% shooting. On the road, it's 22 on 40%. Then when you look at Holiday, it's 19 on 45%. Away, he's 15 points a game on 37% shooting. Point being is that there is a severe drop-off, not of role players, but on your multi-time all-star and Chris Middleton, and then on the other all-star Drew Holiday that you brought in. You can't have that type of drop-off from your second and third best player, especially when it's expected to have a drop-off from your bench and the next group of role players.
Well, this is why I thought last night's game was so important for the Bucks to win, because the Bucks haven't played against a team like the Phoenix Suns, right? This team is consistent at home and on the road, right? To me, they thrive better on the road. When I look at Devin Booker and some of his numbers that he's been putting up on the road, he's been playing pretty damn awesome, right? You look at DeAndre Ayton, he elevates his game on the road. When I watched them the second round against the Denver Nuggets and they swept them, we all know how hard it is to play in Denver in general, right? The altitude started to kick in. But when I started to see them elevate their game to another level in that series, I was like, nah, this team is ready for whatever. So I'm a little scared for the Milwaukee Bucks. I'm not saying that they're not going to win those two games, but they got to be very, very careful.
Yeah, Chris, you take that same tip?
Yeah, I'm definitely going to agree with RJ and his numbers. There are a tremendous difference between home and on the road. So I'm sure the Milwaukee Bucks are very much so looking to get it back to their comfort zone to make sure they play that efficient basketball, especially for Middleton and Holiday. And I mean, really, even in my own experience, that it is tough playing on the road. And yeah, those numbers are going to drop a little bit. The defense is going to be a little more in your face. The home crowd is always going to have that energy, and you have to figure out how to get good shots. I think what the Milwaukee Bucks have to do is find out a way to get their fast break going. Usually when you see them, and I know Giannis is dealing with his knee, but when they're in the open court and they're playing fast and dynamic, that's when I think they're at their true form. So if I'm Budenholzer, I'm definitely telling my guys to get the rebound, push the ball, and look for easy opportunities in the fast break and in the open court. Then you can get that drive and kick game going, and then maybe put the Suns in a position where they're scrambling and you're making passes and dictating passes and dictating the tempo.
Yeah, just play random basketball.
Yeah, look, Chris, this is all really smart basketball analysis, but before I let you go, I need your opinion on the Deer District issue. That area outside with all the fans, Deer District or the Deer District?
Whatever they want to call it.
Yeah. If his mama call him Clay, I'm going to call him Clay.
All right.
I think it's come to a point, Milwaukee, name your place and make sure, get a Twitter handle and you'll be good.
There you go. Wise man, wise words, a Hall of Famer. Chris, thank you so much for joining us today. We will have you back throughout the finals, but always such good perspective. And everyone else, stick with us. Coming up, Suns part owner and NFL superstar receiver Larry Fitzgerald is joining the Jump.